Welcome back, DIYers, to part 2 of this raised flower bed with the tropical desert theme. In this second part, we get this finished up and you actually get to see the plants we chose. So let's get started. Okay, got all my sand laid out. I went ahead and measured just because I'm anal, and I'm right at 16 all the way around. And this is a 4-tier area, so that's perfect. So, take my blocks here. They're 12 by 4 by 7. Now, they have a ridge on the back, but when I got them, some of them were broke off, and I was okay with that because they'll be on the bottom. But I got plenty of those that have this ridge, as you'll see. Now, I want to start in this corner, in this half circle, and go that direction. And I'll have my half bricks at the house, and somewhere in the middle is what I'm hoping for. So, first brick down, and all your efforts need to be on this first course, because if it's level, the rest of them you just lay there and it's simple as pie. So take the time and get it right. Good. 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 And good. Now we're getting 2 blocks. Dead even. Dead on. Good. Okay, first row is down. I got a little spot over there that didn't fill, and I'm probably about 2 inches away from this shovel. I'm gonna pull this shovel out. I'm gonna fill a little dirt in there, then put the pack and move on. And that's what I got left over here. I'll cut a block for that. While I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and set the second row. Like I say, you got that ridge right there, and basically cover them by half. I'll get the sand, the first row of blocks set for the rest of this, and I'll come back and we'll finish loading it up. Okay, I got 2 lines marked on here, one for the left side, one for the right side. Got an angle grinder with a masonry blade, trickle of water. We're gonna cut this. I've got this marked all the way around, so we'll cut one side, I'll cut the back side, and I'll cut the bottom side, and we'll hopefully crack it in half. Yay! All right, let's go see if this one fits. Okay, here we go. Like it was meant to be. All I gotta do is level it up. All right, most of the wall is in. What I got left now is to cut to fit. So I've got to cut and fit one there, and then hopefully the 2 on top of that fit. I don't have to cut. I got one I gotta cut here, and one, maybe 2 here. You can see the paver pack I've put in behind the blocks, and in doing so it'll help hold the bottom row in place. When that gets wet, it does get hard. I can kind of show you here. That's hard. I mean, yes, if I took a shovel to it I could bust it up, but mainly I wanted to get the paver pack between the blocks and on the back side of them to hold them in place, and then that way I didn't have dirt going through them. Okay, we're gonna cut one for here. Now, as you see, it kind of comes and stops here, and if you do your measurement from here, I'm gonna be wrong, because this block really, if you get one that extends all the way up, it's gonna extend to probably about here. So where do you know that is? So this is what I'm gonna do, is take that and measure to this inside corner. Now, the block's going to be cut back about that far, so that's where I'll have my block. And then we'll take a measurement, and it looks like 8 inches. Remember, my measurement was from the wall over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this edge, I'm going to cut over here so it's flat against the house. and that way I don't have to fill much in there to kind of cover it up. So, but the same thing is I'm going to take from here, and we were 8 inches. I'm going to go from the front edge of this block like this, and there's my 8 inches. Okay, now I'm going to take my square, and the back side of these are, I'm going to have to assume are square. So there we go. And extend that line on the front and back edge. Okay. Now the first time I did this, I used my angle grinder, as you saw. It didn't work out so well. So I went and got a 7-inch masonry blade to fit my skill saw. And I've done one cut and it worked amazing. So what we're gonna do. So you can see it cuts almost halfway through. What I'm gonna do is cut here, cut on the face, then finish cutting it. There. Now we'll go see if it fits. Fits beautiful. It's a little short, if you will. Could have been a little longer. Now I could do that, but it'll leave a gap. Instead, I'm gonna do this, kind of split it, and that'll be against the house and you won't see it. Like a glove. Okay, got it all done and I'm 1 block short. And you can see here, this is the one I cut, and I cut it kind of at the angle so the other ones were, so it didn't look out of place. And I'm gonna get one more and it'll have to be cut, and I'll do the same thing. So it kind of hopefully isn't too noticeable. But before I run to the store and get another block, what I'm gonna do is put landscape fabric all on the inside of the blocks and push this dirt up against it. Normally in a retaining wall, they'd put 12 to 18 inches of thick of stone behind here, and then your dirt would be there. And I'm gonna put some stone behind here, but first I'm gonna put the landscape fabric, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna do the stone. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's little gaps, and I don't want that dirt to wash through there. So the landscape fabric will keep that from happening. And I'll start this fabric down at the lowest end here, and I'm gonna have it go a couple inches inside of the wall here. Is I've got to treat this soil. I've got a bunch of topsoil I'm bringing in here that I'm going to mix in with this sandy clay, and then I've got some soil that's kind of mixed up for cactus and succulents that I'm going to put on top to dress it. So I'm going to get this landscape fabric pulled out, and we'll start on the next part. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spade shovel and dig and loosen this all up. Now I'm only going to do half, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. Now, the reason I've done that is because I got topsoil I'm mixing in here, and a couple of the plants, they're already in about 10, 12-inch pots. So I need good soil down that deep and not this sandy clay stuff. That's right, you guessed it. I'm going to till it all in there. Now I've already done one lift and added some more topsoil. What I'll do is grind this in, tamp it down, and then add some more and keep going till I get to where I want it. Okay, I went through with my level, and I leveled side to side and front to back to see where I was on my little red marks that I got against the concrete there as to how high I need to go. And then I got 5 bags of this cactus, palm, and citrus soil that I'm adding into it, that I'm gonna spread around, and then I'll take the tiller and mix it all up and grind it all in, level it off, pack it down, and see where I'm at. I think I still need just a little bit more dirt after this. I think the only difference between this stuff and what I got is it's got a little more black topsoil in it, and these white specks, I'm gonna guess, is nope. Thought maybe they were little specks of styrofoam, but that might be fertilizer, I'm not sure. But it's supposed to fertilize and feed cactus, succulents and stuff, I think for 3 or 6 months, I don't remember. But we're gonna give it a whirl and see. And if you're wondering about this tiller, I rented it. It's a 2 horsepower, it's kind of light, I think it's 50 pounds, but it's worked really well. It's nice and quiet, and I can move it around fairly easily. I got my final lift in. You might be able to see there's a red line here, here, and here, and here, and that's my height. And so now, this is a 5 foot or 4 foot level. I'm gonna take and go front to back and level it. Then I'll go down this direction. And I packed this down to that's where I want it. So if I'm high, I am dead on. All I do is drag across, keep an eye on my bubble, make sure it stays in the middle. If it goes one way or the other, I tilt the level and scrape it out. And the dirt that I'm scraping away, I'll just keep bringing back. And when I get to the end, I'll pick it up and throw it in the wheelbarrow. And I try really hard where I've been not to scrape. Doesn't always work. And as you can see, it's pretty level. The whole bed's level. Now what this is a cover to the clean out. I'm pretty sure most houses have it. They've got some sort of external clean out so that if they're clogged, they can come through and root a rooter through here. And so mine is about 5.5 inches down from where this is. Instead of trying to cut that, extend the pipe and do all that, well, actually I thought about that, but I couldn't find the pipe. Instead, I got this cover. Let's see if we can get it out. And that's all the thicker it is. And it's just sitting down in here. But what I need to do is it may come a little short with the level of my gravel, and that's okay. I'll just kind of feather it. But I need to get this level and straight in 2 directions. You see, that's the clean out. And all this is basically a cover to extend it up so that I'm level with my gravel. One last thing to do before I can start putting plants in is I need to make a little trench. So if you've seen anybody build retaining walls, you know, they're 3, 4, 5 foot up in the air, you'll notice behind those they'll have anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of just packed gravel behind it. It's kind of a filtration so dirt doesn't come through and push it over. So I'm gonna do kind of the same thing here, only I'm gonna do it as wide as this little spatula it is, which is 3 inches. So I'm gonna dig a trench all the way around the front of this and put my gravel in there as my kind of buffer, if you will. And I'm just digging down to the bottom of this landscape fabric and moving on. And at that end, it's only gonna be 2 blocks deep, whereas that end is gonna be 4. I realize that. I'll show you how we're gonna make that up. I've got the trench all dug out and ready to put my gravel in. So I folded the landscape fabric in half, put it down in here. I got 1 bag of gravel already put in here to kind of hold it in place. And basically I'm just using this all-purpose stone to fill in there. I got 4 bags, hopefully that's enough. If not, I'll go get more. But I got all the gravel in here, and it's to about this high. It's just below this top block, about to here. The reason I got it that way is so when I fold these over, I'm gonna put dirt here because I got plants that are gonna be planted up towards the edge, and I gotta have some dirt for them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this back one here, fold it over and cut it, and then I'm gonna take this and fold it back. I'll try and tuck it in a little bit, but it ain't gonna tuck much, and cut it. Actually, I'll probably leave it high just like this, fill the dirt in against it, and then this will go over that. So let's start. I'll get some scissors and we'll cut this. I'll push all this dirt up in here, tamp it down. What's left over, I'm gonna kind of try and spread out because I still got a little room to come up by my red mark. See if I can't get that up a little bit more and get it level. We'll be ready for plants. Got everything level. I got my top piece of landscape fabric laid out. I've got it up the back of the wall so that the gravel will go against it and it doesn't work its way behind here and down into the dirt. I've got center marked on the wall, on the fabric, and then on this piece of wood. And then I took and marked a straight line out from there. So now it's time to get started putting the plants in. And the first one is a big centerpiece. It's a cactus. It's gonna go right here. Okay, this is my focal point. Sorry, the neighbor's getting his yard mowed and I don't wanna wait. So anyhow, this is the focal piece right here, is this cactus. And you can see it's pretty heavy. So I've got it marked around here, but what I'm gonna do is only cut a small area out in the fabric, and I'll slip the fabric over this because I don't want a big area like this and my rocks just settling down into the dirt. So I've got this marked. I'll move this off. I'm gonna cut. I've got the size of the pot marked off. I'm gonna cut the size of the hole that I want to go over the plant. I'm gonna move the fabric, dig the hole out, put this in, and then put the fabric over it. Okay, I got my hole cut out for where I want it to go over. I made slit cuts here and here so that I can get that passed over the cactus. Next, what I'm gonna do is kind of outline in the dirt where I need to dig. Pull this off and we'll dig a hole. Gotta dig down 13 inches. Well, probably about 12. I'm gonna have about an inch stick up so that my gravel comes over it. Comes down to lifting that big heavy cactus down in here without getting stuck. First plant in, centerpiece placed. I didn't film this because, well, it didn't go in very pretty. Once I cut the plastic sides off of the container, it was just about collapsing under its own weight. And what I didn't realize is if you shake this thing was heavy. So it was all I could do to get it in here without busting it. It's in, I've got it packed. It won't sway anywhere. So let's move on, get the landscape fabric put over, and start getting the rest of these plants put in. I'm glad I made a little template here where everything goes because I don't think I'd have remembered. I'm gonna go get all the plants, get them brought around, start placing them where they need to go. Okay, I got all the things planted except for a centerpiece. I got a centerpiece that has to go in here. It's getting late and I haven't got time to put it in because I still want to put, as you see here, I got some gravel over here, which is decomposed granite. I want to put it over here and have this side covered. And the reason is I've got automatic sprinkler system set to go off in the morning and I want it to water all that granite down. I have to be careful where I step. And I'm gonna leave this area open right here because that's where my centerpiece goes. I got my centerpiece laid out like I wanted. I had 2 extra pots. I don't know where they came from, so I'm gonna put those out here to the side, kind of fill in this area. I've got them spread apart just a little bit so that they got room to grow. And the next thing I'm gonna do is start tracing around them. I'm gonna start in the middle, and as I go outward, I'm gonna cut more and more of the landscape fabric because pretty much this whole area in here will be open of no landscape fabric. So the last of the planting's all done. Centerpiece is placed. Only thing left to do is spread the gravel around. Just one more detail to take care of and then this project's finished. It has to do with that clean out drain. Now you remember this is the extension for the clean out drain, which is down about 4 or 5 inches. Originally, I was going to have the whole thing uncovered. Then I decided, well, I'll just have that. Now, I'm going to cover the whole thing, and you'll see why. Because I got a final surprise for this. And the surprise? The ceramic painted lizard. Fits right in there perfect with my desert tropical theme. And with that, another DIY project is off the list. Now, before you go, let's do a cost breakdown of this little project. The flowers for this project, which flowers are not cheap, was $808.38. The parts to fix the sprinkler, $27.99. Retaining wall blocks, which took $76, was $184.13. The half a yard of paver limestone base that I used to put the blocks on, $43.56. The leveling sand, $24.61. The rock that I put in front of it as drainage, $33.92. The yard of topsoil that I bought, $32.44. The cactus succulent potting soil that I put in the dirt, $53.74. The decomposed granite for the covering, $76.89. The clean out extension was $45.81. I included the tools. The 8x8 plate compactor that I bought was $39.98. The tiller rental, $64.57. The metal edging, which I didn't show, I put down in front of the first block on the ground to prevent the grass from growing in, was $74.94. The string line and the rebar, $25.19. The leather gloves I bought, $8.48. The masonry blade to cut the blocks was $38.98. And for the decorative lizard was $58.74, which brings this project to a total of $1,642.35. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this project. It was kind of fun. Hardest part was all the digging and the tillering, but otherwise it's a pretty simple project. And until our next project, happy DIYing.